this is the Provoked Prawn, and this is the HyperX DuoCast. This is a $99 microphone from HyperX, which sits alongside the company's HyperX Quadcast and Quadcast S microphones as a plug-and-play USB microphone which delivers fantastic sound and some interesting highlights. The DuoCast supports 2 polar patterns, hence the name DuoCast, instead of Quadcast, which supports 4 polar patterns, where this has a cardioid and omnidirectional sound, which means that it can pick up when you're talking into it for a voiceover and also be used for podcasting. It also has some other highlights, which as you'll see include RGB lighting and a really wibbly wobbly stand with a nice built-in shock mount. It has also a really good capture quality in terms of the sound, because as you can hear now, because I'm using the microphone for the voiceover for this video, it does an excellent job of picking up audio, assuming that you've tweaked it right and you had it set up correctly. And I'll do a bit more about that later on and show you what you can do with software and tweaks in Windows to make it sound good and to get the best sound out of it. It is a really interesting microphone for the money, and I wasn't surprised actually, because the Quadcast has been a long-term favourite of mine in terms of plug-and-play USB microphones with really rich features and an interesting, simple design. And the DuoCast basically does the same, but in a smaller form factor and with a couple of less features on it. So you'll see, for example, as I said, it only has 2 polar patterns, and the RGB is not as fancy, as you'll see a bit later on. On the microphone itself, you have the RGB lighting ring that goes around the middle, and then at the rear, there's a volume wheel for the gain adjustment, and that wheel can also be pressed in to switch between the 2 polar patterns. It has this highly adjustable stand, and as you can see, that has its own shock mount system on it, but you can also twist the little notch on this stand to then remove it, so you can adjust it so that you can move it up and down and position it sort of up towards your mouth, because you need to talk into the front of it now ideally to get the best sound out of it. Or if you've got an omnidirectional mode, you can sit around it and talk into it, so you can have multiple people talking into it. But the idea is basically set it up and get it in a good position so you can capture good audio with it. It also has, as you'll see, a 3.5mm connection for mic monitoring and audio pass-through as well, so you can plug in with the USB-C connection to your PC, for example, and then plug in the 3.5mm jack to your headphones, and then you can mic monitor and listen to sound from your PC that way. On top, you'll notice there's a mute button, so you can basically tap on that gently to mute it. And this is one of the nice things that came off the Quadcast as well. Basically allows for really easy muting without that sort of thump of clicking a button, so it's easy to do. And also the RGB changes when you've done that, so you can see it goes off to let you know it's muted, so you know when it's muted, and you can just see that at a glance. So some nice simple features. The important ones are that built-in shock mount, for example, which means that it's resilient. You could see just how much abuse that thing could take. Now, you wouldn't be doing that on the regular, but the fact that it's there means that if you have it mounted properly, if you're knocking the desk or if there's any sort of bumps for any reason, they won't get picked up and sent through the microphone, so you don't have those sort of knocks and annoying noises that are going to ruin the audio quality. This is a nice feature that usually you have to pay extra for, so it's nice to see it included in what is a reasonably affordable microphone. And you can see just how much sort of abuse it can take. One of the things that you will see is there is sometimes some problems with the mic muting. At least I found initially there was. I haven't had any issues with it since. A very gentle tap on the top is usually enough to mute it. You can see it plugged in here with a simple USB connection at the back, and then you get a close-up look at it. Now, it does have its own internal pop filter already built into it, so that's another additional purchase that you don't need to do. And so you're basically saving money in a couple of different ways by buying this microphone, and you're getting a really good quality sound from it, so it delivers really good audio, and that is obviously fantastic. Here you can see it stacked up against or next to the HyperX Quadcast. I'm going to do a video separately to compare the two, but you'll notice the difference. Basically, the Quadcast S stands a bit taller, it looks a bit fancier, it has more enhanced RGB lighting and other things, but it is the bigger brother of the two. It has 4 polar patterns and a few other things that perhaps make it more appealing and more versatile, and it's certainly more visually appealing. But if you're only interested in really doing voiceovers, or maybe having a couple of people talking into the microphone, or just picking up sort of surrounding noise, then the DuoCast is a perfectly good option. You can see it's also removable from its stand, although I will see that it is a bit difficult to manipulate to get off of there. I did have some issues with taking it off and also just removing the parts from there. So a couple of steps taken out of that, but basically it required some convincing. Once you've got it off that stand, you'll find that there's this additional bracket included in the box. So basically you need to put that on there and then replace the screw that came originally in there to hold the stand in place. Very similar logic to the Quadcast, and basically pushing that in, hooking it on, then allows you to mount on any boom arm. I'll leave all the specs in the description for what's included, but I'll show you later on that it's in mounting it on the Rode PSA 1 Plus, which is pretty standard thread, and you have a good setup there. Now, I will highly recommend, as I'll say in the video on how to improve the sound on this, and I'll show you later on, that you get it on a boom arm, get it as close to your mouth as possible, reduce the gain down, and play around with some of the settings in order to make the most of it. Obviously, if you have it on the desk, it is going to pick up some noise from your keyboard, for example. Yes, the shock mount should eliminate some problems, but the further away it is from you, the higher you'll have to have the gain, and the more noise it's going to pick up. One thing of interest, though, is that there is settings with HyperX's Ingenuity software, which includes an AI noise cancellation, which isn't immediately obvious when you get it out of the box. And obviously you'd have to change it in the software in order to make the most of this, but that's pretty cool that it has that capability. And obviously also goes up to 24-bit 96 kilohertz audio as well. So there's some pretty interesting features that are hidden. So it is a plug and play microphone, but you can also adjust some settings both in Windows and in the software to get it sounding even better. So it's worth knowing. And here you can see the mounting process for putting it on a boom arm. So it basically just twists in and then you're away. Now, as I said, you need to make sure you get it into a position where you can talk into the front of the microphone. So I'm using it in the cardioid pickup pattern for now, and basically setting it up so I'm talking into the front of it, and then you can ensure that you're getting the best quality audio. In the secondary mode, which I'll show you in a minute, it picks up the surrounding environment a bit more than it does like this. But this is the best way to get it if you're using voiceovers, if you're using it for gaming and streaming, whatever. There's one polar pattern that you want to focus on the most, but you can see it really looks the part once it's on the boom arm. And here I am with the microphone on the boom arm. Now you can see sort of the distance. Basically, I've had it basically about a fist's distance away from it, and I've adjusted the gain down so it's fairly low. What I'll show you in a minute is you can also tweak the settings, both at hardware level, because as I said, this dial at the back here is a gain adjustment, so you can roll that wheel to turn the gain up and down. The more gain you have, the more sound the microphone picks up, but also the more surrounding noise they'll pick up that you don't want it to pick up. So ideally, usually you'd want to put the gain down low in order to get the best quality sound out of it. But it also has some adjustments in terms of AI noise cancellation that you can do in the software, and you can also tweak the mic levels from the software as well. And you'll see the RGB lighting here, so you can see the RGB lighting ring. It's nowhere near as fancy as the Quadcast S, so I think that probably shines a bit more in footage and if you're doing streaming purposes and whatever else. So if you want something that looks nice on the stream, the Quadcast S might be a better choice, but this is probably a bit more understated. When you press the button, as I'll show you in a minute, that lighting ring also changes color to let you know when you're in the other mode, so when you're a different polar pattern. So this is in the cardioid pickup pattern, so really you want to be talking into the front of it, and obviously you can see the closer you get, the richer it sounds. And as I said, you can see if I mute it, the lighting goes, and you can also do it with just a little tiny touch. So also worth noting that since I unboxed it, I've updated the firmware on it, so it seems a bit more responsive there as well. So just keep that in mind. If you do have problems, make sure you update the firmware. You can see I'm actually not even touching it in some instances. So it mutes without a knocking noise. So if you want to mute for whatever reason, you don't have to press a button, and that's one of the intelligent things of the design, I think, personally. Now what I want to do is just demonstrate what happens when you change polar patterns. So you can see the RGB lighting has changed. It just sort of changed color briefly, and you can immediately notice a difference. I sound a little bit more hollow, but also if you listen carefully, you'll hear the surrounding noise more. So my PC is just behind the microphone, and you can hear some of the fan noise that you couldn't hear before because it was picking up just from the front before, and now it's picking up the surrounding area because it's doing omnidirectional. So this is obviously useful if you want to put it in the middle of the room and do a podcast where multiple people are talking into it, or if you've got some other situation where, I don't know, maybe you're unboxing stuff behind the microphone and talking into the front, or if you're using a musical instrument, for example, and you want to do sound from multiple directions. But personally, I find the other mode, so in this mode, is better. Now, one thing I will note, there are some problems with the microphone. You can see, obviously, I've got cable plugged in, so I'm listening to the audio through it. Now, this means for mic monitoring purposes, you can hear yourself. If you've got a noise cancelling headset on, one that blocks out a lot of external noise, being able to mic monitor is quite useful. What I found though is that the side tone or mic monitoring levels are quite low, so even at maximum sound I can't hear myself very well. The temptation when that happens might be to turn the gain up. If you turn that gain up, you can hear yourself clearer, but then what happens is the mic's going to pick up more background noise, so not ideal. So that's one thing I think is a bit of a problem. It's worth keeping in mind is the side tone's not as good as I've seen on other microphones. However, as you can see, the quality of it's fantastic. And now what I'm going to do is a typing test, because I want to just demonstrate the levels of sound that you can hear. And using the SteelSeries Apex Pro TKL, which I'm doing a video on separately soon, and it isn't quiet. It's not a quiet keyboard. I'm just going to demonstrate some of the levels of typing while I'm talking, and I'll show you a bit later on what you can do with the AI noise cancellation. So I can see from the levels in OBS that it is actually picking up some of that background noise. I can't hear it in the headset, so it's worth keeping in mind that sometimes you might not have perfect sound, even though it seems like you are going to. So the next thing I want to do is demonstrate what you can do with the software. Now, a few things of note. One of the things is I'd recommend going to your sound settings. Make sure, if you're mic monitoring as I am with 3.5mm connection, that both the speakers and microphone are selected as HyperX DuoCast. And what you want to do is also go down to more sound settings and go into your sound settings here, and then find recording. Right click on the HyperX DuoCast, click properties, and then click into levels. And here you can adjust the gain level if you want to, so you can crank that up more at this level. Just bear in mind, if you do put more of this out, then you will hear more background noise. Also, you have your formats, so you can see you have a sample rate and bit depth. It's currently set to 24-bit 96 kilohertz, 96,000 hertz studio quality. As default, it's 48,000. So go into your sound settings, as I've done, and make sure you set it at 96 kilohertz 24-bit audio. That'll give you the best quality sound out of there. And also, I'd recommend making sure that it's set as the default playback device and default recording device, default communication device. If that's what you're going to be using most of the time, then that's what you want to set. So once you've done that, download HyperX's Ingenuity software. You can get this from the Microsoft Store. I'll leave a link in the description. Basically, this allows you to control various things. When you first install it, it'll give you a warning about updating the software and the firmware, so make sure you do the firmware updates. You may have to restart your machine first in order to do that. Make sure you go through the restart process to install those updates. And then you get access to this. So you can see that you have a few different options. One is lighting, and the other one is the audio settings. Down the bottom here in the bottom left, you'll see there's a switch to turn mic monitoring on and off, and that is basically being able to hear yourself in the headphones. And as I noted, it's a bit quiet, which is a shame. And you can see you have the option to adjust it up and down. Now, I personally like to be able to hear myself in the microphone or through the microphone into the headphones. That's important to me. If you don't like it for whatever reason, you don't want to hear your own voice, you can just click that to turn it off. Easy. You can see the gain is currently set somewhere in the middle, about 57%. Now, if you find that you've got a lot of background noise, I'd recommend bringing that gain down and then getting the mic closer to you and talking closer to it. Cardioid polar pattern is what it's currently set to, so that's the one where you're talking to the front of it. And you can see that you can switch between those. So I'm not pressing the hardware button now. I'm basically using the software button to switch between those two modes, so you have the option to do that. You'll also find that there's a high pass filter, which if you turn that on, it makes some adjustment to the sound. I personally don't like the high pass filter. It takes out some of the bass out of my voice and doesn't really make it sound very good. You also have AI noise reduction and a limiter to stop the levels. I'm going to do a video separately on how to make this sound better. But basically, you'd adjust the cutoff frequency for it, and so that would customize it. The more you put on, the more noise it'll reduce out of it. I usually find with these sorts of things, if possible, it's better to have it turned off because you'll have a better quality. But if you have loads of excessive background noise from, let's say, air conditioning, PC fans, or background noise from cars passing by or whatever else, then maybe worth playing around with that and trying that out. The RGB lighting, you can go into here and you can adjust to the different effects. So you can see that you have different color options. You have solid lights, blinking, cycling, lighting, wave, and a voice meter as well. So the voice meter basically responds when you're talking, and you can put that on there, and you can adjust the lighting, you can choose the colors that you want, and you can even change the opacity of it and other things. And you can also adjust the brightness up here. So if it's too bright for you, you can turn the brightness down, you can crank it all the way up, and you can set presets. So you have a variety of options in what you can do and tweaking around with the various things on here. And you can set that RGB lighting and then click save. It does respond automatically while you're doing it though. Now, the one other thing that I wanted to demonstrate was the boom arm and the shock mount. So you saw earlier on that you have the shock mounting system, and you can see that it's picking up some of that noise. But actually, what I found, you can see that it is picking up some of this, right? But what I've actually found is this is actually picking up less, despite what it might have just sounded like. It's picking up a lot less than other microphones that I've tested, where if you're moving them around on this boom arm, they make a lot of noise. Because it's a metal boom arm, it's quite hollow sounding. The sound usually travels through into the microphone and can be quite distracting. This one does a good job of eliminating it. It's not perfect, but it is pretty good for the money. So as you can see, lots of good features for this microphone. Good sound, good looks, and loads of capabilities. And hopefully you found this video useful. If you enjoyed it, consider subscribing. It's free, and it really helps me out if you then click that like button and drop me a comment. Thanks very much for watching. This has been The Provoked Prawn. Hope you found this video useful, interesting, hilarious, or otherwise. Take a look at these other videos that I think you might find interesting as well. And have a look at the description for links and other information you might find useful. Click that join button to see the benefits of being a member of my YouTube channel. And most importantly, have a great life.